Maybe. What's up, fellas? Maybe one of these days, you guys might just actually get to see me do a video not in my car again. But for the time being, while I'm still working on getting caught up, and while I'm still, currently getting over the flu that is going around like crazy, out here in the Midwest. While I am, currently working on all that stuff, when I got a few minutes here and there and time to kill, which is rare, but at the moment, that is what I happen to have. Hopefully, this will suffice, and for content being uploaded to my channel, because I haven't uploaded anything in a couple of weeks, which again is extremely rare. But I told you guys here a couple weeks ago I'm working on a series of videos for a pedal company, and I am just about done shooting those. It's been it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work, and I've still got a few others, to get done after that hopefully won't be quite as in depth. But fortunately, once I'm done, some of the tracks that are recorded for all these, hopefully Tony Ramsey will have time to. He's going to actually get a mix them for me, and so I can get all these things knocked out and get them uploaded and my life back to normal. Because just about every spare moment that I've got is been working on those videos. So, with the exception of this past weekend when I was pretty much laid up in bed all weekend, which was absolutely miserable. So, David Mosley, Epic Esquire, Park Kingery says caught me on a lunch break. So this one's going to be fairly short. I'm going to have to shut this thing off here in about 20 minutes or so. But Yuga Man 23, Epic Esquire says I took a drastic step this week. Decided since I know live, sell my pedals and boards and switch to guitar amp plugins. So far, I've sold 75% of my listing on Reverb in 3 days. Wow. I got a guitar for sale that, unfortunately, it's not on Reverb because I'm still in the middle of my Reverb boycott. But I don't know. That one may wind up at Guitar Center this weekend because I'm sick of it laying around, and I am needing to fund a couple of other things. So. Enough of you here over the last several months have asked me if I would do a video on do a studio tour video. So I guess that's kind of one reason why I jumped on here tonight, because I wanted to kind of take a poll and hear from some of you directly and see if that's something that you're actually interested in, or if that is in fact a video topic that would bore the shit out of you more than anything else. So, if that's something that you would enjoy seeing, use that comment thread there and let me know one way or the other. If that's something that you would not enjoy seeing, I have no interest in, also use that same comment thread and let me know. So, And phone blowing up. Um, William Dinkins says, "Thank you for your advice last year start for me to get a Strat guitar to start off with." I don't remember giving that advice, but that sounds like something I probably would have said. You're welcome. And I don't know what Strat you wound up with, but hopefully it was like it's been a good one. If you're still sticking with it, and you're enjoying it. That's the most important thing. So, what part of the country do you live? Looks cold. I am in the Midwest, which is encompasses Illinois and Michigan and Ohio and Indiana and Wisconsin and Minnesota, and I don't know if Kentucky's part of that or not, but maybe. So it's actually not that cold here right now. It's according to my car, it's currently 35 degrees outside, and actually pretty mellow. I mean, I wouldn't want to be standing out there all day long, but but overall, it hasn't been. It's been a pretty mild winter here so far, and now we're almost through January, so it's no, it hasn't really we really haven't gotten any significant snow this year, so nothing. Weather-wise, it hasn't been too bad this year as far as cold. There's a few years ago that it was brutal, and I mean you couldn't walk outside without your face hurting. But it's been a few years since we experienced anything like that. So, Art Kingery says got some new stuff cooking. I will be very interested to see what that stuff is if I get to see it. Epic Esquire says, I'm leaving the cold for a few days to watch the Super Bowl in Vegas. You're heading to Vegas on the busiest weekend of the year. Wow. Ballsy. I don't know if, LA, they have this thing called Namthrax. So I don't, you're going to have a lot more people to contend with out there in Vegas on that weekend. So, take your what's that antibacterial hand wash stuff with you or whatever it is. Michael D83 is here. No, I'm not driving and streaming. I am merely sitting in my car here doing this for, I had a few minutes to kill, so I thought I will jump on. Ronnie Webster says, recommendations for model BC Rich Mockingbird, $500-600 budget. I would probably go with, what if you can find a used, well, you can probably, somewhere if you go to, if you check the used market anyway, you can probably find a Mockingbird special similar to mine, the black one with the carved top that I have. That's a great guitar. It's a Les Paul scale, actually. That one's a 24 3/4 inch scale, so if you don't mind that scale length, that's a fantastic guitar. You can probably find one of those actually for less than less than $500. And the other one that I would recommend looking for is one that I have had my eye on and never had a chance to buy, but it's the, what do they call it? The SL, the Mockingbird SL. They're a little hard to find. They were about I think they ran $699 new, and now the current model that's out now is like $1299 or something stupid. But originally when they were first out in late 2000s or so, they were about $699. They were Anyway, it's the one that's got all the crazy mini switches and the rotary tone knob on it. I think it was called the SL because it's it was basically import version of the Slash signature that is that was real expensive. But yeah, if I were hunting for a Mockingbird for that price range, that's probably what I would buy. One of those two. Well, Phil Bobbigans says, "What's BC Rich up to these days? Seeing they were launching new guitars. Launch happened, then quiet. I don't know. Well, they. I mean, I think you pretty much just summed it all up. Um, they launched their new line and seems to be available. I know it's available on uh, all the major retailer websites, and they look pretty good. I gotta admit they look really really good, and they've got some modern appointments and some modern features on it that a lot of metal players are really into, like the Fishman Fluence pickups and the Evertune bridges, as well as the Floyd Rose models and stuff like that. But they're all made in Korea now, so they're no more China, no more Indonesia or any of that stuff. They're all Korean, so price tag's gone up on them a little bit. Most of them are running in the 13 to 16 range, depending on the model. But they look pretty sharp. I really really want to get my hands on one of the Shredzillas. The Shredzilla 6 is the one that I've got my eye on, but that's not going to happen. I got a few other things that I've got to buy before I think about buying something like that. So yeah, all neck through. No no cheaper bolt-on versions or anything like that. Ronnie Webster says, I saw the Mark V Mockingbird, which seems pretty decent as well. I was not impressed with any of those Praxis era guitars at all. Any of the ones that start with MK something, 13579, I think it went all the way up to 11. I was not impressed with any of them. And those were all made in China, and quality seemed to be very, very hit or miss at best with those. It wasn't. There's a reason why that era came and went pretty quickly. So, Park Henry says, get a chance to check out that Positive Grid Spark practice amp. I looked it up real quick, and I was, that's not my thing. Sean Zimmerman, are they doing USA models? They've always done USA models. USA Shop has always been alive and well. Ron Estrada and those guys that are been building custom shop BC Rich stuff. That production, to my understanding, has never stopped. So regardless of the ownership, at least that's my understanding. Work done here. Oh, that's not directed at me. Never mind. What's going on in the car? Nothing. I'm sitting here in a parking lot holding my phone, talking to you guys. That is the extent of what is going on in my car. I had a few minutes to kill before my next destination. It was about 5 minutes up the road, and so I thought I would check it out. So I can't any decent BC Rich is always bronze. You gotta pay close attention to the used market, and you gotta know what you're looking for. Um, Reverb, eBay, and Guitar Center's used website actually. There's you can usually find some pretty decent stuff on there. So the Masterpiece Mockingbird is a good playing guitar. I'm assuming that I answered this one here last time we were on. I think. They're assuming that you're talking about the bolt-on version. There was two versions of the Masterpiece series. There's the bolt-on version, which is by far the more common, and those are everywhere. Then they also did a neck-through version, which I have never seen one in person. I remember seeing the ads for them, but I never saw one in person. And I know that I've heard of a few people owning them, but they're extremely hard to find. But the bolt-on versions, they play, they're, what were they? I think they were like $300-400 or something brand new. They were actually a good playing guitar. My only, and again, real good looking guitar. My only complaint with those was the pickups in them. They came with the BDSM pickups or whatever they call those things, which are complete garbage in my opinion. But so if we buy one, if I were to buy one, the first thing I'd have to do is swap out the electronics. But beyond that, Sean Zimmerman says, USA production line. I don't know if they're going to be doing a USA production line or not. If they do, it'd be really, really cool. But I think the reason why they've gotten away from that is because custom shops, between $3 and $4 grand. They went USA production. I don't know that you'd be saving a whole lot going that route, just because of how intricate and stuff they are. Maybe they will. I don't know. I know the BC Rich fan base would go bonkers if they announced they were going to do a USA production line. But they're going to need to see some success, and and definitely see some dollars come from the new Korean import line first before they pull the trigger on that. I've always been fond of the Iceman as well. I've never owned one, but that's always been an Ibanez model that I've always liked quite a bit. Those are cool. And the Destroyer, for that matter. Destroyer is also cool. So I don't own either one of them, but I do have a Paul Stanley signature Silvertone, which is very similar to an Iceman. Been jonesing for Telly to play. Mark Holt says, been jonesing for Telly to play with, but limited cash, thinking mod friendly. Any recommendations? I've never seen a Telly that wasn't mod friendly. That's that Leo Fender. That's what he intended with that design. One of the things anyway. I honestly I'd go Squire Classic Vibe. So you find a used one if you want, even if the new ones are still more than you're looking to spend. So Dan Bridges says, thank you for being you after 6 years. In the case, you inspired me to play again. Played since 5, now 60. Thank you. Assuming that was directed at me, you are very welcome. I don't know what I may have done, but it's always nice to hear those kinds of things. Yeah, that's what this channel's always been about: playing guitar and enjoying it. You know, and of course, you know, pissing off the occasional, you know, Fuss Factory fanboy, which still seems to happen daily. Ronnie Webster says there's a Paul Stanley Ibanez going for three. You guys must have just got tax checks. All of a sudden, you guys are talking about buying guitars. There's a Paul Stanley Ibanez going for 300 new. I might get one of those and see how I like to pick those. I don't like them. I might throw in next to an bridge. I'd be careful with that, man, because it's, you know, very likely going to be a bolt-on neck, and that's, you know, the thing I don't like about bolt-on necks with those guitars is, you know, it's not a. There's probably a neck through version that's a few $100s more. It's still an import that's, you know, a little, that in my opinion is a little bit closer representation to what was actually intended when it was designed. So I don't know. Hey, check this out. Gary Pearson says, "Looks like you ate a guitar." Always nice to have, you know, see, you know, find folks like that. Grace the comment sections of these live chats. Upstanding individual there. Yeah. What flavor are you vaping? It's called, what is it called? Vape Nectar from Mr. E-Liquid. First time I've had it, kind of strange actually, but I've had worse. Jeff Parker says, "Hey Robert, I was worrying about you. Glad to see you." Same with Kobayashi. No, it. You know, I appreciate it. I'm fine. It. You know, I've been working on a series of videos. If you just now jumped on here, I've been working on a series of videos for a pedal series for a pedal company, and you know, it's quite a few videos with, you know, each one of them, you know, a lot being involved in each one of them, and you know, I just fell behind, and you know, finally I just came to the realization that it, you know, the only way that I'm going to get caught up is if I stop worrying about, you know, being able to upload, you know, videos on my next scheduled day, and I just get done what I got on my plate now. You know, get that done, and actually what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get everything done plus, you know, another couple of weeks after all that's done, and you know, so once all that's uploaded, then I'm basically, I am going to have a week off with nothing to worry about, and then at the end of that week I'll be back on track, and hopefully, you know, be back to a normal production schedule. So, which is already difficult enough to keep up with. So, yeah, Michael Rakes says, "Never got to see RGD live stream. How are you this evening?" I'm hanging in there, sir. Thank you for coming to hang out. Unfortunately, I've got about 2 minutes left here before I got to shut this thing off. So, oof. Yeah. So, yeah, that's all that I have to share with you guys here at the moment. So, however, you know, don't forget to, you know, there's a lot of videos up on the channel if you haven't seen them all, and I'm sure most of you haven't. You know, feel free to check those out. You know, the certainly the, you know, the additional views wouldn't, you know, certainly wouldn't hurt me at any point right now. probably another week or so, to be honest. Before I'm all the way, caught all the way back up. But definitely getting much closer, and we should be back on track here shortly. So anyway, so thanks for coming to hang for a little bit with me here, fellas, and adios. We'll see you soon.